Ra, the mighty god of the sun, light, and creation, is perhaps the most revered deity in all of ancient Egypt. He is said to sail across the sky in his solar bark during the day, bringing light and warmth to the world, and travel through the underworld at night to defeat darkness. Ra represents life itself, the sun that sustains all. According to ancient Egyptian mythology, Ra was born from the primeval waters of Nun, emerging from a sacred lotus flower at the dawn of creation. From his birth, Ra brought forth light and order, pushing back the chaotic forces of darkness and giving rise to the first day. As the chief god of creation, Ra was responsible for creating all forms of life. He spoke the world into existence, naming each creature an element of the natural world. With his divine powers, he brought order to the chaos and established the foundations of life for gods and mortals alike. Ra's daily journey across the sky in his solar bark was central to Egyptian belief. Each morning, Ra would rise in the east, bringing light and life to the world. As he sailed across the sky, he fought against the forces of chaos, such as the serpent Apep, which sought to plunge the world into darkness. Every night, as Ra descended into the underworld, he would face the serpent Apep, the embodiment of chaos and darkness. This nightly battle was a cosmic struggle to keep the world in balance. With the help of other gods, Ra would eventually defeat Apep, ensuring the sun would rise again in the morning. Ra's journey through the underworld at night symbolized the cycle of life and death. As he traveled through the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, he passed through various gates guarded by fierce creatures. Each dawn, Ra would be reborn, rising anew to bring life back to the world, symbolizing the eternal cycle of death and resurrection. Ra fathered several gods, including Shu, the god of air, Tefnut, the goddess of moisture, Geb, the god of the earth, and Nut, the goddess of the sky. These children helped Ra in his governance of the cosmos, ensuring the continued balance between the elements of life. Over time, Ra became associated with the falcon-headed god Horus, the sky god and protector of pharaohs. This merger symbolized Ra's connection to kingship and divine rule, as pharaohs were considered the living embodiment of Horus on earth, with Ra guiding their rule from the heavens. In the early days of the world, Ra ruled as the first king of Egypt, governing both gods and mortals. His reign brought peace and prosperity as he taught humans the ways of civilization, agriculture, law, and religion. However, over time, humans began to rebel against Ra, leading to a great test of his power. As humans grew arrogant, they began to plot against Ra. Enraged by their defiance, Ra summoned the goddess Sekhmet, the fierce lioness, to punish mankind. Sekhmet unleashed her wrath upon the earth, but Ra eventually took pity on humanity and called her back before all were destroyed. After the rebellion, Ra decided to withdraw from ruling the world directly. He ascended into the heavens, where he continued to reign as the sun god, leaving the governance of earth to the pharaohs and the gods he had created. Ra remained central to Egyptian religion for millennia. Pharaohs built massive temples to honor him, including the famous Sun Temple at Heliopolis. His worship spread throughout Egypt, and his imagery adorned tombs, temples, and monuments across the land. Ra's influence stretched far beyond his time, shaping Egyptian culture, religion, and mythology. His role as the god of the sun, light, and creation symbolizes the eternal struggle between order and chaos, life and death, light and darkness. Even after thousands of years, Ra's legacy continues to inspire. His daily journey across the sky, his battles against the forces of chaos, and his creation of life reflect timeless themes of resilience, power, and renewal. In every sunrise, Ra is reborn, and his story continues. Ra did not rule the cosmos alone. His power was intertwined with the strength of other gods, creating a divine pantheon of both cooperation and conflict. Ra's connections with gods like Thoth, Isis, and Hathor were vital in maintaining cosmic order, while gods like Set tested his authority. The interactions between Ra and other deities represented the balance of opposing forces in the universe. Thoth, the god of wisdom, played a crucial role in Ra's journey through the underworld. Known as the Keeper of Knowledge, Thoth used his wisdom to help Ra navigate through the perils of the Duat. His mastery of magic and knowledge was indispensable in Ra's nightly battle against Apep, the serpent of chaos. Hathor, the goddess of love, joy, and fertility, had a special relationship with Ra. At times she was a comforting presence, soothing Ra when he grew weary. However, when the people of Earth rebelled against Ra, Hathor took on her more fearsome aspect as Sekhmet, the lioness goddess, to punish mankind. This dual nature of Hathor's Sekhmet showed how even love and joy could transform into fury and destruction when divine order was challenged. Ra was not just the god of the sun, he was the divine symbol of kingship. The pharaohs of Egypt were believed to be the earthly incarnation of Horus and Ra. Each pharaoh claimed to be Ra's chosen ruler, tasked with maintaining Ma'at, the principle of truth and balance, throughout the land. Temples dedicated to Ra were also centers of pharaonic power, symbolizing the connection between heaven and earth. Throughout ancient Egypt, massive temples were built in Ra's honor, particularly in Heliopolis, known as the City of the Sun. These temples were architectural marvels designed to harness the power of the sun. The alignment of these structures was carefully planned so that during certain times of the year, the sun's rays would illuminate Ra's statue directly, filling the temple with divine light. Ra was not just a figure of myth and legend. He was central to the everyday life of the ancient Egyptians. Every sunrise was seen as Ra's rebirth, and every sunset as his journey into the underworld. Egyptians would pray to Ra for a successful harvest, for the health of their families, and for protection during the night. His influence permeated all aspects of society, from agriculture to governance. Ra's role in the afterlife was just as important as his influence over the living. In Egyptian belief, the dead traveled through the underworld on a journey that mirrored Ra's nightly passage. At dawn, Ra's victory over the forces of chaos would allow the souls of the righteous to rise into eternal life, while those who had lived unjustly would be cast into darkness. The afterlife was seen as a continuation of Ra's eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Central to Ra's role as the king of gods was his upholding of Ma'at, the cosmic principle of truth, balance, and justice. Without Ma'at, the world would descend into chaos. Ra, along with the pharaohs, was responsible for maintaining this balance. Every aspect of Egyptian life, from law to spirituality, was governed by Ma'at, and Ra was seen as its protector. Over time, the worship of Ra began to decline, as other gods, such as Amun, grew in prominence. However, even as his influence waned, Ra's legacy endured. His image, his myths, and his role in the creation and maintenance of the world remained deeply embedded in the Egyptian consciousness, long after the height of his worship. Even today, Ra's influence can be seen in modern depictions of the sun as a life-giving force, and his story continues to fascinate historians and mythologists. Ra's journey across the sky, his role as creator, and his nightly battles with chaos are symbols that have transcended time, representing the eternal cycle of life and death, order and chaos. Ra, the god of the sun and creation, remains one of the most powerful and enduring figures in Egyptian mythology. His story is one of creation, destruction, and rebirth, a cycle that reflects the very nature of existence itself. As the sun continues to rise and set each day, so too does Ra's legend live on, lighting the way for future generations. Ra's influence extended beyond daily life and into the grand celebrations of ancient Egypt. Festivals dedicated to Ra were held during the summer solstice and other significant times of the year. During these events, people offered prayers, performed rituals, and celebrated Ra's power, ensuring his favor for the coming seasons. The Opet festival, in particular, celebrated Ra in combination with the god Amun, symbolizing unity and prosperity. Ra's worship spread beyond Egypt, influencing neighboring cultures, particularly in Nubia. The Nubians adopted Ra as a significant deity, blending his characteristics with their local beliefs. They worshipped Ra alongside their own sun deities, seeing him as a powerful force guiding the natural world. This cross-cultural reverence highlights Ra's expansive reach and the respect neighboring civilizations had for Egypt's solar god. One of Ra's most enduring symbols is the scarab beetle, which was associated with Khipri, Ra's form at sunrise. The scarab, rolling its ball of dung, symbolized Ra rolling the sun across the sky each day. This powerful symbol of renewal and resurrection was commonly found in Egyptian amulets and carvings, serving as a representation of Ra's eternal cycle and protection in both life and death. Even as Egypt evolved and new dynasties rose, Ra's presence remained central. During the New Kingdom, Ra's worship was revitalized, and temples dedicated to him expanded. Pharaohs like Ramses II built grand monuments to honor Ra, and the combination of Ra with Amun, resulting in the god Amun-Ra, became dominant. This combination signified the ultimate power of both gods, further strengthening Ra's influence in Egyptian spirituality and politics. Though centuries have passed since the height of Ra's worship, his legacy continues to live on. His symbolism of the sun as the ultimate life-giver remains a powerful metaphor across many cultures. Ra's mythology reminds us of the importance of balance, order, in the eternal cycles of nature. As the sun rises and sets each day, Ra's presence endures in the natural rhythms of the world.